Everybody? Welcome to Walk in Purpose, my podcast from Uplift Kings. Uplift Kings is all about pretty much breaking the stigma. Males can't talk about mental health. Males can't talk about their emotions. Men can't talk about their feelings. This is episode 7. I'm here with Taye Walton. He's a vice president of Rockwall Initiative. Taye, feel free to introduce yourself and tell us what you got going on.
Thanks, man. I'm glad to be here. Just like you said, my name is Taye Walton. I currently serve as the Vice President of Rockwall Initiative Incorporated. What is Rockwall? Rockwall is a nonprofit that was created to serve those descending from African heritage, including but not limited to those who are part of the African diaspora. For this disenfranchised group, we aspire to build healthy communities, safe environments, while providing resources, support, educational tools for development of sustainable businesses. As for myself, I'm originally from Birmingham, Alabama. I've been living in Atlanta now for 15 years, so I think it's safe to say I got Georgia roots now. And I have a dope wife, 3 beautiful daughters, and I'm right here with my ride or die right here by me. This is my dog Zoe. She right here by me everywhere I go.
Oh, cool. Keep you company.
Yeah, she my shadow. My wife calls her my shadow. Everywhere I go, she's right there.
That's awesome. What you're doing is great because this is the time where it's much needed for us to come together. There's that stereotype that saying we can't work together. There's that stereotype, oh, we jealous or we can't. That crab in the barrel mentality that people think that we have. So I'm happy with what you're doing. It's amazing.
I think we just got some sort of bad PR out there, man, because I mean that has not been my experience. I mean, I grew up playing sports, and so that's my dog shaking. So if you hear that noise, that's her shaking. She does that sometimes. Yeah, but I grew up playing sports, and all I did was work with men, and so that's really all I know. And I'm the youngest of 3 boys, so it's just all I know is working with men. And from my fraternity to playing sports, we work together. It's just I think those outliers get highlighted more than what's really going on out there.
Right. That's a good point. So my first question, right? 2020 has been a year of just everything's going crazy. You got COVID-19, you got race issues, you got COVID, you got so many things going on. My first question is, what's your mindset right now going on pretty much right now with 2020?
To be totally honest, bro, it's kind of a mixed bag. If I can truly define it as accurate as I can. I mean, I felt like I had a cheat code in the beginning of the pandemic because in January, I did a 12-day missions trip to Trinidad and Tobago. We weren't in the touristy part. We was in the pretty much third world part, man. And I don't know if you've ever been on a mission trip, but when you go there and you come back, you have a whole new perspective. Wow. And you have more gratitude, more appreciation for what you have. I mean, in Trinidad, those people, I mean, they didn't have much, but yet they were rich. They had a lot of love and they enjoyed just spending time and family. And I feel like it's something that we get away from. They're not walking around looking at their phone the whole time. They're not on video games on the internet. I mean, we built a home. Like inside the part where the people were staying that we were building a home for, I was building a home with the person who's going to be living there. And they didn't have any floors, man. It was just concrete blocks with concrete on, with mortar in between it and dirt floor. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and kids walk around there barefooted talking to me. It's just those things like that. It brings you back and gives you a sense of, man, I appreciate every blessing I have over here in America. And so when I got back, that's when that pandemic hit. And I felt like I kept that momentum for quite a bit because I wasn't really tripping off quarantining. I mean, I wasn't really tripping off doing less things. And so I think I thrived in that moment at the beginning. I mean, really, my family, we grew closer. We did things like family bike rides, family walks, walking a dog, picnics with friends, like stuff like that. So that's on one hand, but then on that other hand, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd.
Yeah.
I mean, overt racism.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been, you've been having Karens pop up for probably these last 2 years and Kens or
Right.
whatever. But it's like since the current occupant is in the White House has come into power, it's gotten a little bit more outrageous. You kind of seen it bubbling
Yeah.
under our previous president, Barack Obama, but I think it's kind of overflowing right now.
Yeah.
So
It's in your face. Yeah.
it's in your face, man.
In
It's
your
like,
face.
wow,
Yeah.
really? It's like that? Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But I does it get to me? I mean, I remain positive, but does it get to me? Yeah. I mean, I feel it every time I see anybody a victim of senseless violence, whether it's by the police or by anything, whether it's by our own people.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the biggest thing that really got to me was that George Floyd thing, man. 8 minutes and 46 seconds, that hit different.
Yeah, they hit hard.
That hit different,
did.
man. I mean,
Man, I
yeah,
didn't even
so
watch the whole thing, to be honest with you, and it
I
still
couldn't
hurt.
turn away.
I
I couldn't
couldn't.
turn away.
I
It's just the
watch
fact that it's bad on one end, but the fact that there was people there telling the cop like, "Yo, you killing this brother? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I mean, and the guy sitting there looking like with a little smirk on his face. I was just like, "Wow, man, is this really happening?"
Mm-hmm.
Then when the brother started moving, man, part of me, said in my head, he gonna be all right. I don't know why. I just felt like he gonna get back up. But
Yeah.
then when ambulance came and picked him up and they just rolled him over, they didn't even check his pulse or nothing. They just threw him in there and walked off with him in a gurney. That hit different, bro. That hit different. Yeah, that's when that momentum that was carrying me. And I mean, plus I had some personal issues that was going on a little bit at the time, but that momentum that was carrying me at that time, that's when it kind of hit. And I think, it wasn't overreaction by my part, but that's when I started to actually get open to what was going on. Before then, I felt like I was insulated from it.
I did too, to be honest with you. I feel like I knew it was there, but that was more like a big slap, like, wake up.
Wow. Yeah.
That could be me, that could be you, that could be one of our relatives. Like,
that's right.
That was more to say, you know what, wake up. It's time for something different. Like, that was time for a country, like, time for a change. It's unfortunate that had to happen for it to happen, for us to get the Black Lives Matter street, and it's unfortunate that had to happen, but it's time for us to wake up, really.
Right, and that's so important what you're saying right now, man. That's so important what you're saying. I mean, it's that combination of things. That's why I say it's a mixed bag because, in the one hand, I feel like, and I know this is probably terrible to say, that the tragedy of COVID-19 is a blessing. I feel like it created what I call the great pause.
I agree.
Everything shut down. I mean, I think Rockwall wouldn't exist if it wasn't for that. I think it gave people, I got a lot of theories, bro. I mean, I feel like there are people who get paid to distract us and keep us occupied, entertained, to keep us from thinking for ourselves. And so with the great pause, movies got put on pause somewhat. Music got put on pause somewhat. Reality shows on pause. Sports on pause. So you got people who are normally being distracted and drawn to something else, they're not as occupied. They get to sit down and digest all of what's going on. This is the time most people have been open, and I think, like you said, it's a wake-up call for a lot of people.
There are so many people who are creating new ideas. I'm one of them. I didn't have this idea before this was happening, for the pandemic.
That's right.
I had a whole fitness company that I was trying to run, and I really got frustrated and I lost my passion for it. And I remember me and my fiance was looking at Sarah Jakes. Something I can't remember what the title was about, but something about losing your passion, and I was in damn near tears.
Wow.
It's like when the pandemic first happened. Instead of going to the gym, you're working out at home. And God said, Uplift Kings. I was like, what's that? Like, and I kept saying, I need something for men. I need something from Mill's podcast. I was like, that's you.
That's right.
And a lot of times where a lot of people are creating new ideas just off this pandemic. So, I feel you on that. Like, in a weird way, you're kind of glad this happened. That's not with the deaths and all that, but people are hustling better. People are creating new ideas, whatever it is. This is bringing out the best in some people, in a sense. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, we applied for our incorporation of Rockwall, man. It ran to a stumbling block because then I found out it was so many people applying for businesses, starting new businesses. So, I
Wow.
mean, it's like we birthed the Renaissance in a time where people can sit still
Mhm.
and act on their creativity.
Yeah. That perfectly goes to my next question. We just talked about as far as what's going on in America. What you think? What strategy should we use to find a better situation, create better results?
Man, that's good. Yeah. I mean, the big thing for me is I remember, I think it was, no, I remember the exact day and everything. It was May 30th, about 9:15-ish p.m.
Okay.
when I heard the honorable brother, I give him so much props, Killer Mike on the podium.
Mhm.
And he said a lot, but the quote that stood out in my mind was, because I protested, I marched, I did all that,
Okay.
but when I heard him speak, I couldn't get it off my mind. He said we need to have the ability to plot, to plan, to strategize, to organize, and to properly mobilize. It's like not to even knock those who march, not to knock those who protest is needed,
Mhm.
but I've seen that episode before, and I
Yeah.
know how that story ends. Yeah,
Mhm.
they do that, then you get some crumb handed to you. Maybe it's a Netflix giving $100 million to HBCU, or they go back and be quiet now, or
Yeah.
somebody say, "I'm sorry, I didn't know. I'm going to educate myself on racism that's been existing for years, and you need to re-educate yourself on it." Really, it just that stuck in my brain. I was like, we got to do it different this time. And so
Yeah.
I'll be honest, man, Rockwall was birthed out of that. We actually sat back and I started thinking, how do we solve this? How do we, I mean, our motto, our slogan is building strongholds around our people. And when we talk about strongholds, we're talking about fortification. How do we fortify our community? And that's why we focus on education, economics. Then we're looking at security and politics and court and the rest of the powernomics roadmap that Dr. Claude Anderson gave. But the first things first, I mean, we got to look within. We have to do some house cleaning of our own. And I think that that's the biggest deal. We want to deal with the mental health issues. We want to deal with the physical and systemic issues that are against us. I mean, those issues exist for other cultures, but for some reason with us, it's more prevalent, and we do the most to not look within. We always looking without. I don't think it's by coincidence that you see other groups moving to our hoods to sell to us. And so we just got to get to the point to where we, like you hear this over and over again, how to make our dollar flip within our in our community.
Right.
Well, part of that is we got to fortify our community right now, because I think we don't really have just talking about that house. We had walls and no floor. We don't really have a real solid foundation, which we need to get back to that.
Yeah. That's a great point, because what's going on right now is definitely a time to create new ideas, and I feel like this is an attack on your mental health,
That's right.
especially ones that's active, used to going places, used to having your outlet, where it's the gym. What do you even going to the bar and just going to have a nice drink just on a Friday after a long week? This
We
is
can't do
really
that.
this
Yeah.
pandemic has really been hitting your mental health so hard, and that basically goes to my next question. In your past, have you ever faced any mental health challenges, as far as like depression or suicide, or have you seen anybody in your family go through it?
I'm actually currently dealing with some issues now. I'm still dealing with grief. I actually lost my best friend November last year. We grew up together. We knew each other since sixth grade, played football together all the way through college and high school.
Mhm.
I think the hardest part for me about it, I mean, grief, I mean, it's a process.
Yeah.
But I think the hardest part for me about it, I kind of took it on myself,
Mhm.
mainly because, man, didn't think it was going to keep that. But it just, yeah, see, it's sporadic. I didn't expect that to hit me like that. But mainly because in the last couple of years, it seemed like we kind of grew apart. I wouldn't even say grew apart. We kind of went different directions. I got married and, got kids and things like that. life got busy. Daughters got older and started getting more active. And so I just felt like I wasn't there for them like I should have been. And the biggest part of guilt is I remember earlier that year, I went back to my hometown of Birmingham, and I was trying to see him because I found out from his sister on Facebook that he had a stroke. I'm like, whoa, my homeboy Mike had a stroke, and I just thinking that you didn't think that, like, you think we young. I mean, he was an athlete his whole life, whatever. And I didn't. And she was like, yeah, he had a stroke a year ago. I said, why didn't y'all tell me? Why y'all let me know that? They said, oh yeah, Taye, we thought you knew. I told your brother. My brother forgot to tell me. Long story short, I went back to see him, and he was nonverbal. The stroke was a strong stroke, and so he was moving and things like that, but all he can do is look at you. And so I didn't get a chance to see him and things like that because we can link up, but I just didn't think that would be the end. I thought he would pull through. And then when his sister called me in the middle of the night and told me that Mike is gone, said he died of heart failure, man. So he had fluid in his heart, and he didn't make it. Yeah. Man, speaking at that funeral was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. Man. He was always a better dude than me, man. I mean, when I was young and trying to be bad, I was trying to be thug, what I'm saying? We both was running around trying to be in gangs and stuff, but he just had a better foundation, man. I mean, he the reason I even got saved, bro. I mean, I had went to that church and I got scared away by that preacher, man. I was like, when I felt that tug in my heart, I was like, yo, I ain't going back to this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And then he was like, man, let's go back, and I was like, nah, man, what you talking about, man? And I kept giving him my logic. I'm like, man, that's stuff for people who need that. We can do that later on in life and all that dumb logic I was giving him. Mm-hmm. But he was like, let's go. And then when we went, man, when he felt that tug, he didn't hesitate. I walked up to the altar and I turned back around. He was right on my hip. And yeah, man, it just, again, I'm mature enough to know it in the word to know that, that, God has his reasons. But the one thing that showed me is it just reminded me that we're finite beings, man. And a lot of times we keep trying to live in the future or the past when really we need to be where our feet at. We need to be making the most of the moments where we at. And so, again, I refer back to the COVID, the great pause. Sometimes we forget these moments when we can make a difference. Yeah. Keep pocketing these ideas that, we've been gifted, thinking, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow or I get saved later on, you know.
You never know. Yeah.
Never know, bro.
And what I can definitely share, especially on the grieving piece, my grandma died a year ago. My aunt died a year before that. So this is like back-to-back death. And I'm still have my moments where I'm grieving. I still have my triggers. It could be a song that comes on or something. It could be a picture. So what I can definitely relate to that is just it's okay to feel how you feel.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I say, I trust it being a process, and that's in my process of going through that. I mean, I'm a strong believer in, like I say, if I apologize, disclaimer up front, if I get real preachy, that's just who I am. But I'm a strong believer in God and therapy, man. I really believe, and those two things are not opposed to each other. You can, some people think, they can't coexist, but they do. You hear people say, hey, don't go to a therapist, go to your pastor. Yeah. No, I think you need both. I think, you do. And so, yeah. And so that's probably why a lot of people don't get better at a lot of things. But I've been to therapist, and I mean, I think, I'm sensitive to the fact that I know it's not going to be a snap. I am appreciative and understand that he's in a better place because he was suffering that last couple of years. It gets sad to me sometimes, man, because I mean, I miss him. You know what I'm saying? That was like my dog. Everybody who know us, they know it's always Mike and Taye. We used to rap. Rap group. We did everything, man. That was my dog.
Definitely understand that the same exact situation, but just on the grieving piece and how it feels and how you had those moments. And I'm relearning day by day. It's okay to feel how you feel, because in the day we're human.
That's
especially right. with this pause moment, sometimes make you think about certain things in the past and, oh man, I remember this. So I'm learning literally, as I'm talking about right now, I didn't expect this to go this way, but still great anyway. But I'm learning to try to look at the positive things.
That's right.
Try to look at the, oh man, this happened, this, that. Okay, I'm gonna try to look at the great moments, like me and my friend had, like you were saying, or me and my grandmother, my aunt, or whatever, whoever passed, to keep me going, pretty much.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just commend you on even feeling that way, and even amidst of creating new ideas in the process of grieving. A lot of people would just fall, they tend to give up, you know?
Now, man, I mean, I got his Facebook page is still up, and he used to make videos where he told everybody that you're a miracle. And he
Wow.
used to always tell me, like, you know, he used to preach that good energy, good energy. And one of the things he used to always say to me, man, I can hear him right now, man, Taye, you running for mayor yet? You're going to be president? He just knew I was going to come back to Birmingham and be president or something. And I was like, dude, I wish I had the faith in me you have in me. And I spoke about that at his funeral. I talked about having a positive impact on others. Again, all this happened. His funeral was November 16th. Remember, like yesterday. Then going to a mission trip. Then all this came when the pandemic hit.
Right. Wow.
This is like that was like the rocket fuel for everything that I'm doing now. I mean, I know, like I say, I know people see me in Rockwall and be like, man, Taye be grinding, he doing everything. No, it's a passion project for me. It is. It's something I'm passionate about, and I think that changes everything when you're passionate about something.
Yeah,
it gives you that push.
Yeah. Being, having that passion to create something and having that passion to keep going, pretty much.
That's right.
Walking your purpose in a sense, you know, just to keep going regardless, because it's a daily grind, pretty much.
That's right.
Even with like any setbacks in life or as mental health or whatever. So my question to you is, if anybody's watching this interview, pretty much, and they're going through a setback in life, whether it's mental health, whether it's grieving, whether it's something, what advice would you give them?
I would actually take this is something I always say to people: try to find the lesson in the hardship. You know, I think I've heard this used quite a bit. I mean, I had a book I started on years ago that I need to finish, but a part of that book was called "Taking the L." It's a chapter called "Taking the L," and you know, I say people, you know, go one of two ways. You either, from experience, you can either learn through a lesson, or you can learn through a lecture. And I say a lecture, meaning that somebody gives you the wisdom, saying, "Hey, don't go touch that stove; it's hot." Then you say, "Okay, I'm not gonna touch that stove." Or you learn through the lesson, where you go and say, "I'm gonna touch it and it burns." I think if you find the lesson in the hardship, meaning that whatever you've been through, I feel like all situations when you go through something is setting you up for something else. I totally really believe that. I feel like, but the thing you got to do is pause. I mean, if I had to go to a biblical story, I think about where Joseph and his brothers were jealous of him because he had the nice coat his dad gave him. And hey, you know, they put him in a pit. They dug a pit, put him in the ground in a hole right there, you know. And he couldn't look left, right, front, and back. It was all walls. It wasn't until he looked up. He paused and looked up till he started praying that a blessing came to him. I think sometimes we need to just pause and quit just looking at the situation around us and really try to find the lesson in the hardship.
Yeah, that's a great point, because especially with this year going on right now, like if you look at the social media, you see nothing but negativity. Oh man, this, even with the jokes, what's going to happen next? Godzilla going to take over. And it's just like, so it's like, you have to look at something positive. You know what? 2021 going to be a good year for me. Matter of fact, 2020 is still going to be a good year. So I'm learning to, like, I'm kind of like, and this goes back to what we said earlier about being kind of happy that this happened, having that pause moment. No matter what happens in life, as far as something negative, a setback, I will always keep pushing. Always find a positive outcome in something negative, no matter what happens. So I definitely feel what you're saying on that.
I think the cliche saying is silver lining. Find the silver lining in it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's go to my last question, pretty much. So when you get up in the morning, looking at yourself, pretty much, and you're wondering, the daily grind, of course, what motivates you every single day?
No, it's gonna sound like I'm beating drum, but
Oof.
I say this, God and family, man. And I mean, I truly mean it when I say God. I remember when I was trying to grow in my faith, you know, I felt like I was just doing it because I felt the tug of my heart, but I wasn't really walking into it. And I kept finding myself falling back doing the same old things. Part of it was like I couldn't stop cursing. I didn't stop cursing until I started listening to secular music. Crazy. I was like, wow. When I say secular, I mean I used to listen to like, I mean, in the South we love like 8 Ball, MJG, T.I., the whole Atlanta Dungeon family. We love that. So I thought, oh, they talking about positive stuff. Good mob, yeah, they talking about positive stuff. But that those curse words, you know what I mean? I couldn't clean up my language till I cleaned up my music, and that kind of expanded to other different things in my life. Like it's just like physical training. You can't really lose the weight until you clean up your diet. A lot of times we think, if I go work out real hard and eat, I can eat what I want to eat. But I've seen guys, you know, who are in great shape, but then they get bad reports when they go to the doctor because they dirty on the inside, you know.
Yeah.
And so the reason I say that God is a motivator for me, because, you know, sometimes, you know, just reading a story about how somebody came through, or reading about his promises. I mean, I got a pastor at my church that teaches on that. He actually wrote a book called Promise Principles, and it's basically just remembering all the promises that are in the Bible, just focusing on that, and know that they're going to be true. It kind of gives you a different take. It gives you confidence. It gives you confidence and faith. I think the keys to confidence are preparation and knowledge.
Right.
And I say, I mean, when you're confident, you walk in assurance. So I think knowing that I have those promises, looking back, on those things, sometimes you got to remind yourself. I don't have that war room where I got Post-its and all that around there. But no, I just actually just kind of look at those promises, man, and get motivated. Like I say, my family, man, my wife, man, I think she's a part of where I'm at today. I mean, she's such a freaking motivator, man. She's just a rock. She reminds me of my boy Mike. She always talking about something, you're gonna be this, you're gonna be that. And I don't know if it's just really just speaking life. She just she really look at me like I'm some type of a hero, and I feel like that motivates me to want to live up to it.
Yeah.
And so
definitely relate to that.
Yeah, man. Just and I tell people like, man, you get you a good one, man. Ride with her.
Yeah.
They're amplifier. They make you better.
Yeah, you get you a good one that brings out the best in you.
That's right.
Every great man has a woman next to him, not behind him, but like next to him.
That's right.
You got this. There are times when we don't feel like we got it.
That's right.
We're saying, baby, you got this. You're going to do this. Like, oh, all right. You know.
That's right. That's right. Even when you don't believe in yourself, you be like, man, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I mean, I never really realized the value of that until I just, again, sat still and really thought about it. I always thought I could do it on my own. I mean, I consider myself self-made, but since I've been married to her, I've grown. My trajectories went so higher. I mean, I was always kind of, moving forward because I had some good people. Having a good woman, man, it's a good amplifier. And my daughters too, man. My daughters, I mean, they truly believe I'm superhuman. I mean, it's funny when you hear your daughters talking to their friends and they be bragging about you, and you be like, man, they're talking about me, you know? It's like yeah, my daddy, he's the smartest person in the whole world. I'll be like, wow, that's a lot of pressure. Like, that's a lot of pressure. But it just, it felt good to have them believe in me like that.
Yeah. That's awesome. This has been truly an amazing interview. I really appreciate you for just taking this opportunity. Before we go, feel free to like social media, Instagram or Facebook, where to find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at your_inner_fitness_coach. It's your inner fitness coach. I truly believe fitness starts from the inside out. So that's my moniker. Facebook, Taye Walton. Look for our group, the Rockwall Initiative. Our website, www.rockwallinitiative.com. A lot coming from that. Any of you who are looking to start a business, and do something good. We just challenging our people to come up with something that's, innovative. I'm tired of giving our best and brightest to your Bill Gates and Warren Buffett's. Let's and other big companies. Let's do something for us.
That's amazing. Thank you, bro. Hold on
Thank you, man. Love what you're doing, man. Anything I can do to support